Okay, folks, welcome to Win Anyway Live this Saturday night. I am going to go a little bit off the reservation and speak very specifically to my Toastmasters friends around the world in regards to the new paperwork that Toastmasters has sent out, asking all the officers to sign so that the club secretaries can keep them in our records, apparently for forever, perhaps. But I want to go back first. Well, I should say, for the people who don't know me, my name's Rich Hopkins. I've been at Toastmasters for just a week short of 22 years. That's a long time. It's more than most of you. It's not nearly as many of you. I've seen a lot of things in Toastmasters. I've been a district leader, although I haven't gone up past division governor. See how old I am? Division director. I've competed. That's what I'm mostly known for, getting to the world championship stage a couple of times a long time ago. Now I'm just a plain old Toastmaster, although I do hold an officer role in all three of my clubs at this point. And so this document is something I am being asked to sign, at least by Toastmasters. Nobody here locally has asked me to do it yet. Let me take you back to 2005 when I was competing. I was living in Utah, and the region conference, back when we had such a thing, was being held in Eugene, Oregon. And I needed to fly to Portland and get to Eugene. And I wasn't quite sure how I was going to make that happen because, frankly, I didn't have a ton of money on me at the time. I did get my flight sponsored by friends. And Bernie, who was the District 7 director at the time, who I thought was actually a male for the majority of the time that I emailed back and forth with her until I actually finally saw a picture of who she was. Bernie told me that I would get picked up from the airport and taken to her home, where I could then borrow her car and drive down to Eugene, because she would have already gotten down to Eugene, so she couldn't drive me. I'm thinking, wow, so you have this person who's never met me, doesn't know who I am pretty much from Adam, just that I'm a Toastmaster, and she's willing to have me picked up, taken to her home, and allowing me to borrow her car. But it gets better, because I get picked up at the airport by Bernie's mom, who is either in her late 70s or early 80s. And I'm asking her, like, wow, thank you. You have no idea who I am. Why in the world would you agree to pick me up? And she just looked at me and said, Rich, I have known Bernie, obviously, her entire life. And she's been in Toastmasters for so long, and I've done Toastmasters, and I have never met trash in Toastmasters. And that just stayed with me, because she was perfectly willing to pick up a total stranger and take me to her house and let me borrow that car. And I got down to Eugene, and, well, that's another story. I went overtime at Region, but hey, that's all right. It was a great speech. It was a lot of fun. Great people out there in the audience laughed just enough to knock me about 3 seconds overtime. No trash in Toastmasters. And that's how I've always believed. That's been a concept I have taken with me for so long. But I look at this agreement, and it makes me feel like Toastmasters International itself no longer, if they ever did, no longer believes that. Forms like this don't come into existence without a reason. Things have happened around the world, and we've grown so much since 2005. We've grown incrementally, exponentially, just in the last 10 to 15 years, all over the world. So there's bound to be bad apples. There's bound to be trash. There's bound to be problems. And I've heard of a few. I've heard of some major ones. I've heard of people getting kicked out of Toastmasters. Whether they should have or not, I don't know. But I know that this form comes from situations like that, where Toastmasters doesn't want to become liable for anything that comes up that could potentially be damaging financially or image-wise. I mean, really, when you look at the document, there's nothing in the document that really says anything except, hey, be nice, be a good person, fulfill your officer roles, fulfill your club goals, all things that are in the Toastmasters promise, things that are in the training to be an officer. The only thing I really see that is a little bit irritating to me is the clause where it says if there's, any problem, they aren't going to be held accountable, but we could be held accountable. Now, I'm assuming that's if I'm a treasurer and I embezzle funds, I'm going to be held liable for that. Well, yeah, duh. But what if somebody in my club thinks I'm not treating them well? Maybe I had a bad night. Maybe my overconfidence has made them feel bad about themselves and I have not handled myself well. And they internalize that and it becomes a long-standing thing. And that has happened because, I can be a little bit overbearing sometimes. I try to step back. I try to find out what the issue is. I try to communicate with people. Sometimes I just drink too many monsters before I actually go to Toastmasters, and I can be a bit out there. But that's not like major stuff. Not the major stuff I've heard about. And sometimes things can even get angry online. I mean, let's face it. Not only has Toastmasters grown so much over the years, but the way we communicate has changed so much over the years. Things you would never say to somebody in your Toastmasters meeting, you'll now say on the official Toastmasters Facebook page or on your own page. We talk about how we're great communicators, but oftentimes we can transform into keyboard warriors, which is why I'm not writing about this. I want you to see me. This is me, bad lighting and all. Saturday night, haven't shaved. I'm in a flash shirt. That's pretty typical. It's just me talking. I don't like signing things. I don't like being told I should sign things. I feel condescended to by Toastmasters. But the reality is, I'm not really signing anything that makes me be somebody I don't want to be, or do anything I shouldn't already be doing in the position I'm in with the organization. I should always be nice. I should always fulfill my duties as I can. It's just logical. And so I can take deep offense, and to a point I have, over the need for the document, over their cover your behind attitude in creating the document. But I can't really see myself not signing the document if I am asked to, because it feels like it's cutting off my nose to spite my face. I love Toastmasters. I get a lot out of it. So many friends in Toastmasters all over the world, and I don't want to lose them. And, maybe I'll cut down to one monster before I go to Toastmasters, just to make sure that I don't occasionally come off as a bad person. Yeah, I probably still will. It happens. And so will you. We all have bad days. We all have bad situations. But the key, of course, is what is our intention? What's our heart? What do we want to accomplish? Are we truly looking out for each other? Are we living up to the RISE standards, which in Toastmasters are the URSA: integrity, respect, support, and I can't even remember. That's sad. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Somebody can write them in the comments. That's who we should be. And then I think inside for most of us, it's who we ought to be. And if that's not you, then maybe Toastmasters isn't for you. If you really fear signing the document is going to affect your life long term, then I would either look at why, or I would communicate with Toastmasters and I would fight. You want to fight it? Fight it. That's why we're here. Stand up, communicate our feelings. And for me, just not that big a deal, I don't think, even though it kind of felt like a big deal for the first 24 hours. Feel free to disagree. Just be nice when you disagree with me, because I know that not everyone's going to feel the way I feel tonight. but I thought I'd share from my perspective of 22 years, which, as I said, is not as long as many, but it is more than most. And still, I feel that for the most part, I don't find trash in Toastmasters. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow in the Win Anyway Live I do for Sunday.